If you are feeling that you are in between realities right now, know that you are not alone. This is very much the energy and the astrology of this moment in time, where we have, as a collective humanity, experienced a great reset. But what that exactly is part of what we are exploring. It is this unfolding journey that has the potential to bring us into the future, to surrender to this divine flow, this dance of life. And yet, we can't just go skipping and jumping into that future. There is a need to see what is not working, to see humanity for what it actually is, who we have been for over this past 2,000 years and longer period. So there is this energy of wanting to go back into the past, into these past warlike timelines, and at the same time, there is a rising, a waking up into our power and into the possibilities and the potentials. So very much an in-between space, in between the old realities of the past and the new that is being born, that is unfolding. So have you been experiencing this in your life? How are you seeing that playing out at the world stage? How are you doing? Please let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your experiences. And if you are in tune with this energy, and if you are picking up on it, on the astrology, because the astrology is nature. And we are in fact nature. Not just nature as in Mother Earth, but nature as the cosmos. And again, that divine dance of life, this greater orchestra that we are a part of, that we have a single note that is carrying into this entire symphony. This is a very profound moment in time, and I would love to know how you are doing. It is both profound and it is both very, very challenging, especially depending on where you live in the world, as well as your faith, the color of your skin. You know, really want to honor each of our individual experiences during this transformational and revolutionary time. Now, if you are new to my channel, my name is Chrissy Whistler, and if you couldn't tell, I am a soul level evolutionary astrologer. The lineages that I'm teaching and speaking from is from Jeffrey Green, as well as Dane Rudyard. And my teacher, who has been the bridge for me, has been Timothy Halloran. So that's a little of where I'm coming from, because not all astrologers are the same. What I'm speaking of is very much about frequency and energy. I am also an intuitive and a channel, as well as a parent of two very beautiful, neuro-sparkly children. And if you are finding this time incredibly challenging and you need support and you want to know what the hell is happening in your life and why, so you can meet those energies and move with them rather than being resistance, please do reach out. I offer these, again, soul level evolutionary astrology readings, as well as intuitive readings and so much more. You will find that information at my website at chrissywhistler.com. And if you find this video helpful, this understanding how we are in between realities helps you, please give this a thumbs up. Every time that you do that really helps me out in exchanging this information and reaching more people. So please like it, please subscribe if you haven't already, and please share this with your friends. Every little bit helps so much. And please know that I am incredibly grateful to you. Not just for doing that, but honestly for being here in this moment and really anchoring in this new frequency, this new timeline. Because I don't know about you, I'm not going back into the past. I'm not going back to the feudal era where we have a king, kings of our countries, and the rest of us are just working ourselves to the bone. So I've done that many times in the past. I've also, of course, been on the top. You know, we've all had all experiences, our souls. But I'm ready to go into something new. And so that's very much what I'm going to be speaking of in this video. This acknowledging where we have come from in order to get to where we want to go. This unfolding journey that is going to be very mysterious. And you will need to let the parts in your system know the fears, the old traumas, the old stories, the old patterns. Where we are going next, there is no road. And that's going to cause a lot of, right? Like just complete freeze for some of our parts, and even going back into fear, because this is part of our teaching from society, from our cultures, especially if you're coming from a Western country, Western culture. We have been raised and conditioned to believe that we have this whole roadmap planned out. You do A, B, C, you do all that right, then you get this great paying job. You can get your white picket fence and your 2.5 kids and all the things, at least that's here in America, your house. Those dreams that we have been conditioned into believing, especially, again, I'm using America as an example, but please insert what fits for your country and where you live, because it's interchangeable. Those dreams we are discovering are an actual illusion, that they are no longer true. So there is this shattering of illusions and delusions. That is going to be so much this theme around our Pisces new moon in many different ways. So Pisces new moon, but this is also the theme around our Saturn and Neptune conjunction, which we finally have had. This happened on February 20th at the 0 degrees of Aries, the world stage. So this is a new cycle that's starting, and just because they hit, okay, good, we're done. That's not how it works, folks. This, as I said, is this unfolding, and we are in between realities. The old reality is dissolving. The new one's not quite here yet. And we have many people who are diving ever deeper into the delusion, Pisces, Neptune, because if they were to confront the truth of themselves or the people they believe in, world leaders, countries, you know, each country has their own orientation, this own mythology. That is being shattered right now. And to see this for what it truly is would shatter a person's consciousness. So what do? They do everything possible to not look at it, to not acknowledge it, to not see themselves, the truth of who they really are. So they will project that out onto someone else, onto other countries, skin colors, face, religions, all the things, anything they must do to not see themselves, because their parts in their system of consciousness are freaking the fuck out. So that is happening. You can see it at the world stage. You can certainly see it here in America with this decision to go to war with Iran without any foresight and wisdom, and seeing the reactions, the doing anything and everything possible to not see reality for what it actually is. And as it is doing that, this doubling down into the delusions, the pressure for the rest of us, the regular folk who don't have gazillions of dollars, corporations, stock, right? All the things, the rest of us regular people, that pressure is building around money, around finances, resources, gas, petrol, right? There is a pressure that is building, a reality that cannot be denied, that cannot be gaslit. This is part of this pressure cooker that is building. The grenade in the steel box, the grenade will go off, and it's just a matter of how big is that pressure need to get to break us open, Pluto and Aquarius, to see ourselves as humanity, Aquarius, our consciousness, Aquarius, for who we actually are. And as that's happening, this is not just about hitting us personally at the financial survivability level, although it is. This is also about our hearts being cracked open. Pisces is so much, yes, mystical, otherworldly sensitivities, this inexplicable connection to life itself, and it is also tremendous loss, existential crisis. Things are happening that are completely outside of our control. You might be canceling trips going forward because there is no gas or petrol, diesel available to get you to where you need to go, whether it is in your car or it's you taking an airplane. Suddenly, you don't have access to that thing. This is beyond your control. So it becomes into this flexibility, this going with the flow, not resisting to what is. And what is it that you need to see? Again, this surrendering, these natural disasters, these occurrences that are beyond our control. And yet, this is this invitation of the North Node going through Pisces. It is bringing us into faith. It is teaching us, it is reminding us what faith is, what the divine is, what we have, because we are part of that cosmic whole. We have that inside of ourselves. So it's both being that giant ocean and that single drop of water. They're one and the same. And we're holding that power, that connection to the divine inside of us. Very, very profound time. Can you feel it? I'm sure you're feeling this pressure around the question, are you safe? This is physically safe, but this is also emotionally safe. Do you feel safe and held right now, where you can share your innermost feelings with others or with community? More than likely, that is not true, that you do not feel safe. This is part of Jupiter's transit through Cancer, and Jupiter just stationed direct on March 11th on his own planetary north node. Now we have 3 planets for all of us alive with the planetary north nodes in Cancer. What this means, it is the most missing medicine of our human evolutionary journey. This energy of emotional safety, emotional intelligence, to sit beside another and to listen to their stories, to sit beside them as they cry, as they feel, as they rage, and holding that space so they can emote, so they can express themselves. This Jupiter in Cancer is incredibly powerful, and it is shining this light on what we do not have. Because as we see what we do not have, we've gone through this retrograde period, this reflection. Oh, I don't feel emotionally safe in my family of origin. How can I then create that safety for others, for the family that I choose? This is part of what we are learning, and there is a drive, a need to make that happen. But we have to put conscious effort into it. That's going to be very important, not just around this new moon in Pisces, although it is very, very highlighted. So just know that this is a huge theme for us going forward. The astrology is just so big. This eclipse portal that we have just had has been that opening of the door into this great reset, even as we don't know what it is yet. But it's going to be carrying us through like a beat. This new moon in Pisces is the next beat on that journey. And it's also setting the stage for this March 20th spring equinox, which is going to be our next astrological year. So it's like these themes are continuing, they're extending, they are growing, they are unfolding, and that is this journey that we are on right now. All right, so let me start to, I'm going to move into the Pisces new moon, but please know that I am not going to be covering everything, because we'd be here for hours, and most people can't even last a full length of the videos that I do. So please know that this is very, very deep, very profound, and I'm not touching all of it, but know that it is there. All right, so we have our Pisces new moon on March 18th at about 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. And then if you are further ahead in the time zones, this will be March 19th for you. And then, of course, as I said, we have the Aries equinox on the 20th. So this, again, is really setting the stage. This door is opening very, very profound new directions. This, again, in between realities. We don't know where we are going. Very much the Pisces energy, this need to surrender to the divine flow. All right, so the Pisces energy, we can very much be experiencing more distortions, more delusions, because at 28 degrees, we're almost at that 29 anaretic degree where we really see the pressure of the Pisces energy. Again, going ever deeper into the delusion, into the illusions, into things even like flooding or being like the sponge and just soaking up everything in the collective. The ruler of Pisces, Neptune, is only at 1 degrees of Aries, so it is conjunct this new moon with Saturn still there at 3 degrees. So this is what I mean by that door opening. We still don't yet know where we are going. But this is still, it's like bringing us back into this connection to the divine. Mars is in Pisces, who's ruling that Aries energy where Saturn, Neptune is. So let me just sidestep for a small moment. Is the war potentially going to get worse? The wars that are happening all throughout the world right now? That is absolutely a possibility. When we speak about these astrologies, we're speaking, it's not just one energy flat across the board. There are octaves. And this is very much depending on where you are on your own evolutionary journey, your soul's consciousness. So yes, there can be much more these drum beats of war, or we're not even in the drum beats, right? We're like on the bomb dropping stage. This escalation is going to be very profound in individuals. Absolutely, that is there. But at the same time, we are not, how do I put this? That old timeline of the war, like the last time Neptune was in the Aries we had for here in the Americas, the Civil War. So there is an echo of that. Again, just open social media, turn on the news, and you'll see that theme. But it's not the same. That old timeline, there is a dissolving of it, and yet there is a need to see ourselves. We need to see this truth that is still within us. Just as an example, for here in the States, we had the Civil War. The war ended, and yet there were many pieces of that story that stayed the same. This is where we're really getting that deep systemic racism and this oppression of people of color that are within our systems that did not go away. So that the seed of what that was still always there within our foundation, and that has been this rippling outwards and upwards. Sorry, I just had something come across my screen. Rippling outwards and upwards to where we are now. These truths of the past, again, what year was that? 1861, of what sparked the Civil War, is still here. Didn't go away, it just went into hiding. And so that's kind of what I mean. Like, there is this going back into the past, and I'm just using the United States as an example. There's a going back into the past because we have to see and to resolve this here. Because where we are going, this opening of the door is taking us into this completely new future. But we have to resolve and tie up these loose ends. And this is also going back over 2,000 years. We are in this completion of the Pisces age. This is where we have the North Node moving through Pisces, South Node in Virgo. We have to see, we have to resolve these old stories. And this is part of what this Pisces new moon is going to be hammering in on. Okay, we had our lunar eclipse in Virgo, which is doing that, all right, helping us to see this Pisces new moon is doing the same thing, because the ruler of the South Node in Virgo, where South Node in Lucifer is an Orcus as well, is Mercury. And Mercury is exactly conjunct this North Node in Pisces. So there's this reverberation back and forth. We have to go back into the past to see these deep truths, because we are in the middle of this great reset. We must see truth. We must see through the illusion and delusion, Pisces, in order to start to dream again. This returning and reawakening our ability of discernment to see what is truth, what is an actual dream that is being anchored into our hearts that we can go forward, and what is a bunch of bullshit. That's this reverberation. That is what this new moon is really, really bringing in. So I hope you were able to follow me, because I am jumping timelines here if you couldn't tell. All right, so again, like this great reset, this new seed that's been planted, we are continuing to work within that energy. Very, very interesting that we have Uranus sextile to the exact degree of this new moon, the sun and the moon at Pisces, 28 degrees. So what we're doing here with that Uranus is this seed that is being planted, this seed that the Neptune Saturn has planted, this Saturn Neptune on the Aries point, which hasn't happened for 6,000 years, okay? This seed is beginning to grow these roots. These roots are stabilizing. This dream is wanting to go into the earth and to anchor in. But before that can happen, we have to see our old patterns around these dreams and these delusions. So what are they for you? Be very, very mindful and aware. What are those old patterns? Because our default is to go back into what's familiar and comfortable, right? Lean into that. This is not about worth and value and money the same way it has always been done. That's Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is about seeing the shit that's not working and experimenting to make it better. This divine discontent of Uranus, who is completing this 7-year journey of Taurus. Completing this. So really be very aware, be very mindful, because this is not about going back to how you have self-value or don't, or self-worth. Again, that was taught to you by society, these conditionings put onto you. This is about that old stuff being cracked open and shattered, dissolving, Saturn, Neptune. So just know this is a real opportunity to anchor in the seeds of this moment in time, to grow the roots of what is possible. There's this opportunity to shine a light, to be this light in the darkness right now, because things are looking pretty heavy and looking pretty dark. There is a clarion call to step into our power, especially when it comes to world and society, and just say these rules that we are playing by are not the right rules anymore. And the light that you are holding, these new visions, Pisces, Neptune, what you are holding is the new vision for the future. And each of us are going to have these different parts of that puzzle. All right, so let me just see what else. Again, there's so much in this astrology. It's like, okay, where do I go from here? Absolutely, there is a real opportunity to see the karmic cycles. Okay, this is Orcus. in Virgo retrograde, opposite to that Mars in Pallas Athena. Like, this is, those who have been the oath breakers. We can see them. We can see them for who they are. Now, again, not everyone's going to be able to do that. We've talked about that. But to see it more clearly, and even within our own lives, this is us. Like, when have we, skirted the rules and thought we could get away with things? Or when have we allowed others to do that and not said anything? So there's this real energy here, this real drive that's calling us to wake up and to bring back in Jupiter, okay, Jupiter in Cancer. This is about reawakening the sixth sense of our guts. It's not just the five senses. This is also your gut is its own sixth sense, this instinctual reaction, this instinctual knowing that you just know it in your being. This is an intuitive wisdom that is coming back online, and it's beautifully feeding into this emotional intelligence, this remembering, reclaiming that we are empaths, that we have this deeply innate spiritual nature, and being like, yeah, this is me, and I'm going to own that. I'm going to stand for what you believe in. What has been suppressed, the children, the families. Again, and there's this, going back into this bigger cycle, this Jupiter in Cancer, you need to feel safe in order to create. In order to be your authentic, shining light, you first need to have safety. You need to have your emotional needs met. You need to live in a world that is safe. So even in this, we're going back. The last time that Pluto was in Cancer, this was our great generation. This was World War I. This generation of individuals had to leave their homes, Cancer, to go out into the world. This is the Pluto polarity point of Capricorn. Go out into the world and claim their authority, that they are strong, that they are capable, they are resilient to make the world safe. And as they did that, they made the world safe for their children, the baby boomers, the Pluto and Leo, which allowed that Pluto and Leo generation to create this society that we are all living in. And yet, that the resources that allowed for that safety, the baby boomers, the Pluto and Leo generation, have held on and have refused to let go. So this is also part of this deeper story of the future generations are recognizing, wait, I need safety. I need a home that I can actually afford. So I can create, so I can individuate and shine my light. And so there's a rising up of this energy, this realization of the ball that was dropped. And so this is what you're starting to see. There's this greater waking up that is occurring right now. And I'm using examples, the great generation, the Pluto and Leos, all these different examples, but this is not just about this moment in time. This Jupiter is in this this Grand Cross. We have Maki, okay? Maki, again, is very multidimensional, working with the fractal of this moment, and we're going far beyond what our consciousness can even conceptualize. On the other end of that square, we have Venus, Salacia, and Leyla Kahuna. Those are dwarf planets. So there is this there is a real divine timing that is at play. This claiming of our ability to weather these psychic storms, these physical storms and challenges, but it's also this full-on new navigational system that's coming back online, and this recognizing that while we are individuals and unique, we're also interconnected. It's really beautiful to sort of see that, yes, there is these challenges, but these challenges and what is happening is bringing us into something much deeper and greater than we can even know. And it's very, very clear in the astrology, especially as we weave in the different dwarf planets. You know, they are upgrading our consciousness. Again, it's part of that Saturn, Neptune, this consciousness being shattered, dissolved, and waking up into something new and something far, far greater. Again, I'm sort of like, oh, there's so much. As I was saying, this new moon on March 18th, 19th, and then we have the Aries equinox on March 20th. So this is a very profound moment. This March 20th, again, is setting this new tone for the year ahead, the astrological year. And we are nature. Astrology is nature. It is a reflection of us and our journeys. Mercury is stationing direct on March 20th, just a few hours after our spring equinox. And that is happening at the exact degree of the North Node in Pisces. Like, again, this is helping us to see through these illusions, to reconnecting to our discernment. So we can see the past, all these past ripples and dynamics, again, that multi-dimensional pieces that I was speaking to, for what it actually is. So we can move forward, so we can actually reconnect and relearn what unconditional love actually means, because have we gotten that lesson that Jesus brought through, that this Christ consciousness energy that he was very much in tune and connected with, right? Did we learn the lesson of the Pisces age of unconditional love? To love thy neighbor as if they are ourselves. Nope, I don't think so. So again, can you see, like, this is like this reverberation back into the past, clearing up these loose ends to take us into this future, to remind us, you missed these steps over here. Time to go back and redo them. This opportunity is really beautiful, though challenging, right? Again, this is that experience of our hearts being cracked open in order to realize how interconnected we actually are. Because we are. We have just forgotten this. So to start to wrap up these messages here, and I was speaking to this at the very beginning, yes, things on the world stage are going to get louder. The financial pressures, honestly, just like the cost of oil, is going to increase. That pressure is going to tighten. It is going to build. So know that that is coming, and I would ask you to witness it. There is a need to see the truth of who we are as a human species. Bearing witness, especially when you come from this heart space of care and compassion and curiosity. True, deep listening. That is how we do the medicine of Cancer. Jupiter in Cancer is asking us that right now we need to bear witness and to hear the stories, to hear each other, to hear the story of humanity itself. That is so important right now. As this is happening, as you have no idea how great and powerful that act is. But this is also a waking up into our spiritual mastery. Because if you have been doing that work, if you have been coming from a heart-centered place, working on returning yourself to wholeness, your healing journey, you've probably been having a lot of initiations, especially over 2025 into now. Like, oh boy. That is because we are being forged and tempered into being true spiritual warriors. There is a need to stand, to rise, and can even feel it from the divine feminine. She's coming in very, very strongly. I mean, we've got Eris and Chiron exactly conjunct at 24 degrees of Aries. Like, this is reclaiming power from where we have been wounded and told that we were powerless, that we were not warriors, that we could not initiate, could not follow that spark, and that need to defend and to protect. Eris is like, hell no, we are not leaving this battlefield until we have reached harmony. And she will be continuing to cause discord until we get it. She will not leave. She holds this diversity consciousness, this looking out for the little guy, really shaking things up. So there's this, again, there is this beautiful energy of the divine feminine waking up to who she truly is. And that includes the divine feminine that is within each of us. It is a power, and she is rising, and she is saying, you may not kill my children any longer. That's the old timeline. That's this past 2,000 plus years that we've been in. And she is like, no, I am not putting up with this bullshit anymore. It takes a lot of work to birth a child, to then raise them, to support them on their journey of growth. And it is so easy to send that child into war, to die, and to kill others who have been children themselves. Speaking of human beings, but this is also our planet itself, and the harm that is being done to her through this dropping of bombs, this pain that is being seeped into the earth for what we have caused and done as humanity. The mother is waking up, and she is coming back into and remembering her power. This is within each of us. It is not a time to stay silent. This is a time to anchor into our hearts, to rise, to defend. We are these empath warriors, these spiritual warriors, and all the shit that we've been going through, especially again these past couple years, has been teaching us, showing us our mastery our resilience, our capabilities. Saturn in Aries. This is who we are. This is what we hold, and it is time to rise and to be part of these initiators in building this new world, this new dream. So I really invite you, as we come into this Pisces new moon, this Aries equinox, what are you dreaming into being? What dreams are you here to build? Because it's going to take work to make that happen. It's going to take work to build this new earth, these new consciousness, these new structures. Pioneers taking us into that future. And to be a pioneer means you need to have courage. This is how we've been being forged, how you have been forged. And I would love to know, let me know in the comments below, how have you been forged? What is it that you are here to bring through, to create, that's coming from this heart of hearts, this soul calling that you cannot say no to? Are you feeling it? Do you know what it is, or is it still unfolding, deepening? And if it is, that's also perfectly on time. Because where we are going, there are no roads. It is just that gut, innate knowing that this is the direction we need to go in next. And the courage, the bravery, Aries, to go where no others have gone before. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please share this. I appreciate that so much. And if you need support, if you need that validation of what is happening in your life, how to meet this moment, please reach out. Again, you can go to my website at chrissywhistler.com for an astrology reading, intuitive reading, as well as quantum healing if you found a sticky area that you can't move past and you need help. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care. I know it's an incredibly challenging time, and I am so grateful that you are here going into this wilderness right alongside me. I am so grateful for you and your light. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.